Hey guys, well this video's a little bit different. So after our hunts we always sort of have a debrief and talk about what went well and what didn't go well. So this is sort of just a formalised on video, on camera version of that. So probably not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but feel free, have a watch, let me know what you think. Yeah. It's probably a couple of weeks now since I got back home from that trip, and in the middle of moving house, so it's all go around here, man. Anyway, hope you enjoy this, and let me know if you want more content like this. Right, so we've just come out of the area we've been hunting. We planned for 7 days, and we come out after five because there was weather, wind and shit coming through,
and lack of animals.
So that's our big 2024 Roar. Well, probably my biggest hunt for the 2024 Roar. What are your thoughts initially coming back out? Like, this is the morning after. Perfect time for a hazy.
Yep. Back late last night. Thoughts? Don't know, man. It was hard work.
It's hard work.
Hard work, more probably mentally than physically.
Yeah.
What did we work out? We did like 60 k's.
Yeah, 60 k's on foot,
and then another 40 on push bikes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that obviously took its toll as well, but just not seeing the deer at all, like not even seeing hinds and stuff. Well, I mean, we did see some stuff, but not in the numbers we were expecting.
Yeah.
Into previous years in the same sort of general area.
Yeah, it was, compared to the trip last year, we sort of saw far less animals, right?
Oh yeah, like, astronomically less.
And there was lots of, we saw lots of spikers and sort of 4-point, 6-point stags, younger animals.
Just young.
Yeah,
young.
They weren't even rutting, eh?
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, the stag you shot was moaning.
Yeah, but there was an older one.
Yeah, I mean, it was very,
like
very limited roaring action comparison to what we were hearing
last year.
Well, no, and just in, like talking to people who are hunting around the general area.
Even those animals are still orange. Like, they weren't.
Yeah.
They weren't rutting. They weren't.
No big fat necks.
No. Yeah.
No wallowing. No. Still bright orange, like they were feeding in the middle of summer.
Yeah.
And I wonder whether that's just due to the lack of feed, and they're just still busy feeding, trying to get ready.
Because shit, it was dry in there. Like, we were walking along, and it was like, it wasn't like the plants were just fresh dead, man. They were brittle. They were so dry.
Like
all
dust,
the grass, yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty tough, pretty hard going.
Pretty grim, eh? Like. Yeah.
But what do you think was the best part of the hunt for you?
The best part of the hunt, I think we talked about this while we were in there, but sort of briefly, but sort of now looking back, now we're out and summarising it, was the best part for me wasn't like a specific point. It was the fact that we got in a couple of days before we hadn't even seen an animal.
Yeah.
And then putting all the knowledge and skills and things we've learned over the years to work, putting in the physical work, then finding the animal and executing.
Making it happen. Yeah, because what was it? The second night before we really saw animals, and
even then it was.
Yeah, the stag that I shot, we saw for.
That was night 3.
Was that night 3?
Yeah, that was the evening of night 3.
No, that's when I shot it, but we saw it.
Oh yeah, sorry, we saw it
from
before.
night 2.
Yeah.
But at last light.
Very last light.
For maybe 5 minutes before it cruised over a couple saddles and
gone
and went and disappeared, because he was holding.
He wasn't holding anything at the time.
At the time, because he was down on that river flat.
Yeah.
And we were
up high.
Up high.
And then when we found him, he had a couple of hinds, didn't he? So
Yeah, 2 hinds and a yearling? Was it? I can't remember.
yeah, something like
I'd
that.
have to look at the camera. But
Yeah, so that was probably my best part. Like, I mean, not per se the actual killing of them, but just that whole build up, going like working everything out, going, you know, we're up high at like 1,700 meters, and going, the animals aren't anywhere near here. The animals, everything we've seen is been on the valley floor.
yeah,
So that's where we need to be. Going down there, calculating all our winds and things, heading down the right ridge, getting into the right position, you know, making all those calls, and then getting to that spot and waiting, and we patiently.
and we'd set up there. We'd set up high for. We'd been up there for 2 days pretty much, or a day and a half solid.
Yeah.
Before we decided to come back down, and we'd like, man, we were pretty certain there weren't any other animals in that area apart from the younger.
Would look pretty hard, eh?
You spend a bit of time upon the glass. Yeah, I agree. That's probably the, getting down that. But then we saw everything spook as well. Like, we were coming down that ridge with the wind in our face, everything in our favour, and then we saw a big mob of those young stags.
First we saw those 3 hinds, like, absolutely hightailing it up the valley from us. Like, and this is like k's away, right? Like,
yeah.
But they're just absolutely hightailing it, like they were, you know, being chased by something, sort of thing.
And because
which then spooked that other mob, I think,
of the young stags.
the 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. That went across the scree, and then they sort of all buggered out, and we were like...
Because you thought you heard a gunshot from in that valley.
I did, but...
and we're a bit unsure on that. Like, I reckon, because, man, we'd been eating dehydrates for a few days by this stage, so my guts was making some interesting noises. And
yeah. It obviously wasn't the case, because the valley we thought it came from was where we ended up.
Shooting that older stag that's sitting outside here.
Yeah, but I like also just like going back to what you were saying about like that moment was like when we were sitting there in that position where you shot from, and we were looking and we picked up that spiker, and we were getting a bit itchy. We've been there for a while, you know, like the bugs are starting to get to you, and like, oh, should we just walk up the valley?
Yeah, try and make our own luck.
Sort of thing, and we're like, you know, like your mind just. You're getting bored, you want to do it, but then you're like, no, stick to what you know, stay still, wait till that magic hour.
And then there was that young stag with the 2 hinds and a yearling, who walked like less than 100 metres from us.
Yeah,
like
that was when it all started.
That was as he was sort of coming down towards us. That's when we heard, because he letting out a couple little roars, little moans, like lazy as he's, and then we heard the old other guy down the valley roar. And we thought we'd let this guy sneak past us, and man, that was pretty intense. Like, I was taking some good footage with my iPhone.
Even rewinding that though, like sitting there, right, and we're looking at that spiker. Yeah. And we're like, this biker's, what was he, like near on a K away?
Nah, I think he was 500 or 600 metres, wasn't he?
Yeah, like so he's ages away anyway.
Yeah.
So we're sitting there like quite relaxed, all that sort of stuff, and then. You remember just like me catching out of the corner of my eye, I'm like, there's a deer, don't move. And there was that stag, just stood up literally 300 yards from us. Yeah. Like, we'd not been quiet or...
And no, we were sitting on the wrong side of the hill too, so we were exposed.
We were leaning against the hill as opposed to like hiding behind it. Yeah. And then for him to then make a bit of noise, walk up the hill, and then pick up 2 or 3 hinds or whatever it was, out of like an even better vantage point that would have seen us. It was like, how have we done this? Yeah. You know, it all sort of started unfolding from there, didn't it?
Yeah, and it worked out. Like, we ended up putting that big fella down with the one shot with your... Because me, I don't know what I was thinking. I was pretty knackered, to be fair, coming off that hill. I found it quite hard going down that ridge line that we came down. It was hard, and I was... Because we'd been up there in the sun, because man, it was hot up there.
Pretty burnt.
Yeah, like my snout was red, man. Yeah. And I was pretty knackered, and I left my rifle behind with our bags, because we dropped our bags and then to try and figure out what if there was a gunshot up here, if someone was up there.
Yeah.
And yeah, but your new rifle's a sweetie to shoot, man. Like that's
Pretty stoked with
you got to be happy with that. So
yeah. No, it's been good. It's been nice to have a rifle that
you really can.
that you can be confident behind again.
Yeah.
Like, for those that don't know the history of it, I've had a poorly built rifle for a few years now, and had a lot of issues, a lot of really taking my shooting confidence from up here to down here, and then had this rifle built by a gunsmith, Murph's Precision over in Blenheim. Fantastic advice, probably was the best thing right from the start, and then completed the build, all that sort of stuff. Really impressive price, all that,
It's a little honey. Yeah.
And now I've got this rifle that's just building my confidence again to shoot. It's consistent. It's not a mule.
Because that, man, I got behind it and it was 350 odd metres, so not a huge shot, but not a close shot either. But man, that round hit exactly where I put those crosshairs. It was
pumped him, eh?
It was pumped. It pumped them. And I was telling you, you're shooting the LDMs, and I've not had much success with them in the past with my 28 Nosler, but they seem to just work. Whatever that rifle's doing, it's doing it.
Yeah,
so you got to be happy with that.
I mean, and it's only factory ammo too, which is like
the best thing.
But again, that was from the advice from Murph. Yeah. And he, like he said, he's like, you'll be pretty happy with factory, I'd say.
Yeah.
And man, I'm shooting clover leaves at 100 yards.
Yeah, which is
with factory ammo. It's like, why would you do anything different?
Yeah, why would you waste your time trying to reload it?
So yeah.
What was sort of the hardest bit, you reckon, of the hunt? Like we had that big climb up the saddle that second day. Like that wasn't difficult, but it sucked. And then the fact that we sort of should have got water earlier.
That was all physically hard, but not a big deal. Like that's what you're there for.
Yeah.
For me, the hardest part was the mental decision. Not you say day before, when we made the call, we're like, right, we need to get out of here.
Yeah.
Like, that was hard for me because, as I said to you, like,
well, we'd pumped up this block or this area for so long and we're so excited about it. The fact that we got in there and weren't seeing what we thought.
Yeah. And just like there's always that like, we could just like climb over that next valley and have a look there, and it could be better. And
I mean, you did turn down a pretty good stag on that fourth day that we sat and watched for. We probably watched him for I want to say an hour and a half.
Yeah, it was quite a while.
Yeah.
He was doing stuff. I think that's why we
sat
there.
Yeah,
like we hadn't seen.
He
was the only stag we've seen that was actually roaring.
Yeah.
Flat out chasing hinds. Like just thrashing up bushes and just
pissing on himself.
Yeah, all that sort of stuff. It was fucking. It was really good to
like a good old league player.
Yeah, good to see after 4 days of nothing really. So yeah, I mean. My mind went backwards and forwards multiple times on whether I should have shot him, and I think back. I said to you on the hill, I was like, this old meat eater. What's his name?
Ranella.
Stephen Ranella. That's it. Said don't turn down on the first day what you'd happily shoot on the last.
Yeah.
And I sort of played that through my head and looked at the stag and was like. Would I be disappointed to walk out not shooting him?
Yeah.
A tiny bit. I mean, it's because I came out with nothing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the mentality needs to change in New Zealand if we want to start seeing better heads.
Yeah, which is what you told me.
Yeah. He was at a guess 4 or 5 year old stag, everything going on, all those tines, all that sort of stuff, great length.
He was probably the best stag we saw there.
100%.
Like antler-wise.
Yeah. 11 pointer.
Yeah.
Probably, I don't know, he'd be 35, 36 inches.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. But just you could just tell in his timber weight that he was
going to be a ripper in
yeah,
2 more years.
but he was still young and just needed time.
Yeah.
And so it's always a risk that someone will shoot him later, but
yeah.
yeah,
The public land, right? Like,
yeah.
It's at least he's out there and he's going to spread his bloody seed over the next few weeks.
He spread his seed a bit.
Oh yeah, yeah. He was squaring that around a little bit,
yeah. But yeah. So yeah. No, I'm not gutted that I didn't shoot
You're not
him.
gutted that you didn't shoot him. That's good.
Nah,
and especially like a day removed now from being back.
Yeah.
Off the hill.
I think it would have been like a short satisfaction, if that makes sense. I would have got back here with him and then been like, oh, I should have left him.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't know. And
well, to be fair, you already have shot a ripper stag this year, so
so
2 months ago,
not even 5-6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's all part of it too. You know, like I don't know.
That cup was full for shooting big stags.
The cup's never full for shooting big stags, but I was pretty content. It's probably the word. Like I was content. You know, I shot a pretty impressive stag this year, and personal best.
Yeah.
In some regards, anyway.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would have head scummed that.
Yeah.
I think you should have.
Nah, it's
hindsight.
I've got my benchmark for a head skin. So as I said to you, more than 12 points and 40 inches, that'll get the full mount. Yeah. But no, I don't mind my Euros, so.
No, good. Probably the hardest bit for me was just the dryness, man. Like, shit, it was hot up there compared to what we had last year. Like, I know last year I pretty much lived in my mid-weight hoodie, and this year, man, like, during the day, I was in my
t-shirts,
in my t-shirts, like a base layer, like, and sweating and getting sunburnt. But then, like that first night when we were in there,
freezing.
Everything was frozen.
Yeah,
like my tent was frozen. And then after that, it was warm.
Yeah,
like that was the coldest morning. Like I had ice on my boots.
It was. I struggled a little bit with the. Well, I mean, we talked about this as well, but like the moisture every morning.
Yeah.
On everything.
Yeah.
Like I was sleeping in a, what do you call it?
Single wall shelter.
Flawless shelter, single wall shelter. And like on the last night, like we made a conscious effort to sleep as far out of the valley floor as we could. Yeah. To stay away from that sinking cold air and all the dew and condensation and whatnot. I was like the whole outer shell of my sleeping bag was soaked. Yeah. And it was like that was hard to manage and made the morning slow. Yeah. Not that it was too much of a worry, I think, for either of us. Just as in we were in the zone, and there was no roars, no roaring stags, all that sort of stuff. So I struggled with that. Yeah, definitely made it hard to get motivated, to get going, not hearing the roars. Yeah, 100%. Like we were talking about on the walk out, you're in there to hunt roaring red stags, and they're not roaring. Yeah, and you're not seeing the stags. Yeah, that's kind of like it. Just kind of starts to feel like just any other hunt. Yeah, where you're just hunting stags. Yeah, but you weren't there for that. Yeah, I can do that the rest of the year. I'm looking for those roars. So yeah, it was demoralising, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. Yeah. What was? So we're both real gearheads, obviously. Like looking around, like your shelves are stacked as mine, probably even more. What was the best bit of kit you sort of felt that you had out there that gave the most value to the 5 days that we spent in there? I'm not going to put it down to one thing. Yeah. I'm going to say optics. Yeah. Spotting scope, binos. We did a bit of a gear dump while we were in there, and I just briefly touched on it, but 12 power binos. Yeah, which is something that's not really that common around here. I really haven't heard many people having 12 power binos. It It's new for me. Like I was running 10x40s heading into the summer trip.
Yeah.
And my cover I was with was running 12x50s.
Yeah.
And we were sitting there, and he's like, "There's a deer," and I'm like, "Where?" And you do the old classic, like, that tree, that rock, there, right there. We're looking long, obviously, like sometimes like a couple of Ks with binos, and I just couldn't see them.
Yeah.
And I got sick of it at one point, and I said, "Give us your binos."
Yeah.
So he chucked me his binos, and I had a look, and I was like, "No wonder."
Are they the same as what you've got now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So exactly the same.
Yeah. So you made that upgrade. That was worth its weight in gold, but also having the big spotter.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, man, having that big spotter was a godsend. Like that. Like it's a chunk, man. Like, what'd you say it weighs? Like
scales there. It's heavy. It's like I want to say it's it's over 1.5 kilos. I know that.
Yeah. So I had my Nikon super zoom camera.
There you go. 1.9 kilo.
Yeah, 1.9.
Yeah, so it's heavy, but I mean we're 27 to 55, but 80
something.
85. I can't remember. I've covered it up with tape.
I mean, I had my Nikon P950, which is an 80 something times zoom camera, and that was a waste of time up there. It just to look out at that distance, like within 300 meters, yeah, it was okay, but we were looking at deer at 1.5 K and counting points, right?
Yeah.
Like
easy.
Like that was so good to be able to do,
yeah.
And especially because you've got this phone scope adapter, you can chuck that on, and take a photo, and then or take a quick video and look at it as well. That was man. I'm most likely going to be selling that camera, and I want to buy a spotter.
Well, I mean, I was the same. I've been through the same thing you're going through, and it's with what you're doing in the filming, which I no longer do. You kind of feel like the camera's so important, but then, like you saw some of the footage that I've taken.
I mean, you got some cracker footage with that, and I thought that they'd kind of be near equal, sort of first and last light the camera would suck, but during the middle of the day it'd be comparable.
Yeah.
Not a chance.
Yeah.
Not a yeah.
And I mean, like, it's a reasonably pricey spotter as well, so you kind of expect quality.
Yeah.
And you definitely get it. Like, I've been pretty happy with the purchase. Going from a camera to a spotter.
Yeah.
I started with a smaller spotter before that, just a 20 to 60 by 65.
Are you happy with the upgrade? Is there much weight?
Yes. I do. Like, there's a considerable weight penalty.
Yeah. Is that 0.5 kilo between them?
Ish.
Yeah.
But like when I get that out.
Yeah.
To go for a trip, and I lay it here on the table with all my gear, and I look at it, I really don't want to carry it.
Yeah.
And I'm begrudgingly taking it every time until I get up high or to my glassing spot, and I start looking through it.
Yeah.
And like you would have saw how much time I just spent glassing through it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
sit it on 27 and just glass through it,
and
then
glass.
Yeah.
And then because we were covering some pretty vast country.
Yeah, man.
You know,
we were looking a long way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, last night, how far do you reckon that spiker was?
Oh, 3K? 4?
Yeah, that's far, right?
Oh,
I was pretty stoked.
That was a huge distance.
Yeah, I could probably work that out actually. That's quite funny. But yeah, no, I don't regret the spotter. I mean, I in a dream world would love something, maybe go back to the 20 to 60, but something higher end.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. So go to because I went to this because it was the only really option they had in the high end.
High end for
Leopold. Maybe like Swaro or Leica.
Yeah.
20 to 60 or 65 or whatever they are. I don't know their
Yeah.
ATS or ATX or whatever. Yeah.
80C is a small one, I think.
Yeah. So something like that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Not with that weight penalty.
No. How do we do this?
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, man. I'm gonna say the best pit kit that I thought was the spotter.
Yeah.
And that's something that you had, not what I had, because the camera was hopeless to me.
Spotter's always pretty epic too when you don't own one.
Yeah.
Like, it's more epic.
Because I didn't have to carry it too.
You talked about this, like, because you were saying, like, oh, it'd be pretty mean to have 2 spotters.
Yeah.
And like I said to you, I think it's the novelty factor.
Yeah.
Of, like, kind of, I want what he's got.
Yeah.
Sort of thing, and not just, as in you want my spotter, but you want to be the one
sitting behind it.
But also, I think, in the scenario we were in, we sort of worked it quite well, just sort of rolling in shifts and taking breaks and resting, and because like it was brutal up there in that heat and the wind too.
Yeah.
The wind was pretty gnarly. So
what's something that you took that you'd leave out for next time? I mean, hindsight's always 20/20 vision, right? But like, I mean, I know I took a GoPro in that I used for like 30 seconds of the trip, which I could have left like halfway in, and I took a stupid little tripod in.
There's lots of stuff when you're filming though.
Yeah, but I'm like, man, I knew I wouldn't need that, and I had another tripod, a big one that I could have.
It's been cutthroat, eh? I think for me, it's just little things. It's just refining things. Like I didn't need 2 gas cans.
Yeah.
But I carried two of the small gas cans. You know, the MSR. If you know the MSR, you know that it'll as long as it's not too cold, it'll go the distance.
Yeah. So we had 2 MSRs between us.
Yeah.
And 3 cans, and I think I cooked most.
It was twice a day. You're
cooking cooking twice a day. Yeah. And I think I used half a can.
Yeah, and I'm the same. I took in a full can, which is the one that's left there.
Yeah.
And I had done used the old adapter, the old MTN gear adapter, to make a semi-full one out of 2.
Yeah.
And so I had, might have been 2/3 of a can to start with, and it's getting empty, but it still could have probably done the distance.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where I'd be at, is like refining that sort of stuff.
Which is hard though, like trying to figure out how much gas you're going to use over a potential 7-day trip.
Mm.
Yeah, if it was colder, we probably would have used more gas too. So
yeah, that's what I mean. Like that's probably the big reason I did take 2 cans, and going off guys like friends of ours that were in the area
a week before
us. They had snow. Yeah, you know, frozen tents every morning. You know, sort of thing.
Versus we needed sunblock.
We didn't have any of that, you know, like so.
Yeah. I know something that you mentioned, that something you wished you had was a lightweight hoodie, like your base layer with a hood,
just
and long sleeve because man, like looking at you, bud, you look like you're straight out of Alabama, you know, like your neck is red, bud.
Got a white t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
like man, we saw some sun.
Yeah. Pretty happy with the clothing, to be fair.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have a hooded base layer like pretty much what you had.
Yeah.
Or you know,
similar
sort of thing. I do have the Kuyu Gila, which is like the same concept, like long sleeve hooded. But I haven't really got on that well with it here. Just with the heat here is a bit damp.
I feel like it's quite a...
And it gets clammy, eh?
Yeah, it's quite a slinky... Yeah, it gets a bit... I don't know.
I don't know. It's okay. Like it does its job in the peak of summer.
Yeah.
When it's really hot and dry, but when you've got a lot of moisture and heat, like we had, like you know, we get those really dewy mornings, and then it heats up and it's quite clammy. They just become really sticky
and not fun.
Not fun. So, hence why I ended up taking the Sitka Core Lightweight Tee or whatever it was, because that doesn't do that for
Yeah.
me. But I wish it had long sleeves and a hood. And I like that your one had a big zip too,
Yeah.
which was nice, so you can just sort of open it right up. I think that's
And a little tiny useless pocket on the chairs.
pocket on the base.
So we got it weather on the
Yeah.
inReach, and it was blowing
It was supposed to be a southerly,
yeah,
and it was a nor'wester.
yeah,
Like, you positioned yourself specifically in the area that you're in to hunt the wind and not have the wind blow down the gullies that you're trying to look down.
yeah.
And then you've basically got that happening.
Which,
We didn't get that southerly until literally yesterday when we were biking.
and man, that was hard.
And it's a warm southerly still though.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. We're the end of March.
Right, we're back. Small technical difficulty there.
Yeah, without the roars, man, you've got no direction.
Direction,
right? Like,
yeah.
to chase roaring stags. So, doing it differently, we covered a lot of ground, man. Like,
Yeah. Well, what did we say? We did 56, 60
56 Ks. Yeah, I mean that's just a rough
Yeah.
going off the phone.
Yeah.
You
The
know,
phone. What do you say?
yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, off the Garmin thing. So you know, like, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a pretty respectable amount of Ks for 5 days, 10 Ks a day sort of thing.
Whilst hunting and climbing
Hunting, and we had our gear with us basically the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah. The only time we dropped our gear was pretty much for me to go and shoot that stag, or us to shoot up that valley to try and investigate why all those, because we thought there was gunshot up there, so.
Yeah, so yeah,
That's about the
and
only time
we were like 500 metres from the packs, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe a K.
Yeah. Not far.
Not far. So, yeah, I don't think we could have done much differently. It did look like the area had a bit of pressure. So, boot marks,
Yeah.
we saw toilet paper.
Yeah.
People need to make more of an effort too, man, when
Yeah.
they're taking number twos in the bush, eh? Like, there's just toilet paper like strewing down the like valleys and stuff, and
Yeah.
pretty.
Yeah, I think I picked up a rock to bash in my tent peg because you were giving me a hard time about it, and there was like a shit paper stuck to this rock, and I'm like, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously it had some pressure, which doesn't help things, but pressure doesn't remove deer from like 6,000 hectares.
Nah.
You know, like
big area.
it moves them.
Yeah.
Like they move around, but they just weren't there.
Yeah. So we bumped into what was it, Austrian fella
Austrian dude, yeah.
in the area too. So that was a pretty hard case. He had walked like 40 Ks that day, and he had just come out of the Rangitata for a week.
Yeah, chasing bulls down there.
Chasing bulls. Like, we saw this rental car parked up down the road, and we're like, what?
Yeah.
What's this about? And he'd walked in.
This little Mazda Demio couldn't go too far in.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was pretty cool to see.
Hopefully he gets in touch, because we left you left your details on his window
just
when we came out and asked him how he got on, sort of thing. So.
Going back to the gear thing as well, man, like, you asked me what I would have liked to have had that I didn't.
Yeah.
What about you?
One of those. 100%.
Just one of them?
A spotter.
Like,
100%.
like
Clothing?
dialed?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy with what I've been using. Maybe I could have thrown my ambient hoodie out and put like a medium weight hoodie in instead, because
Ambient's not heavy though, eh?
nah, it's not.
For what it gives you.
But it, like last year, I lived in that thing from the moment we got up and started walking.
Yeah.
Like with pack on, like it's quite good at getting airflow through and cooling you down when you're walking. But then when you sit, it keeps you warm, right?
Yeah.
But I almost found it too hot. Like it wasn't.
To be fair, like,
It was hot.
hard one to win.
Yeah, it is.
The vest, mate.
Yeah. I need to actually send that photo to Erin.
They should right here insert a photo of the guy from the Dukes of Hazzard movie.
Yeah.
And the photo of you wearing the vest next to it.
I'm sure I'll be able to chuck that in there.
Oh, because that was humour. But yeah, no, I think without
Yeah.
being queer, I think that, like, that's sort of where that vest fits in, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm the first person to call a vest quote unquote gay, but see the Americans,
They love
they
it.
love them,
Yeah.
and I thought they haven't been wrong with a lot of stuff that I've tried, so gave it a go, and yeah, it kicked ass.
Yeah.
Like for what it was there for, you know. Like,
Not too early.
no, it's nearly 10. But yeah, so I mean, I'd like to try. So I put it into context. I tried the Stone Glacier Cirque vest. I think the Cirque Light, which they do, is another vest they do, and also as a jacket, I think that would have been perfect.
Yeah.
I reckon a lot of the time, if I had a long sleeve base layer, I could have just worn that vest over top of it and
Been happy.
been pretty mint.
I almost wanted a lighter pair of pants. Like I was wearing the Kuyu Katanas, and I was quite jealous of your Stone Glacier pants that you had. Like the vent zip on them, like the Kuyu ones,
nuts,
they've all got
eh?
like a mesh in them, like, you know, which is real
Pros
common.
and cons to everything, though.
100%, and we'll get there. But the Stone Glacier ones just open up like a big zip, and it just
Basically, go to halfway down your shin.
halfway down your calf, right?
Yeah.
Like, and just can open it right up and you can let all that air out. Versus, I had this little mesh window to drop heat, but then you found when you were walking through those bitty bid prickly things.
I think they're like a nettle of sorts. But
and you found that they were just filling up.
Well, you basically got two giant funnels.
Yeah,
They're
full,
just
full of crap.
They just funnel all the scrub and shit into your pants.
Yeah.
But pros and cons, right? Like
Yeah.
I was never hot in them.
Yeah.
You basically feel like you're wearing no pants.
Yeah, I was pretty. I mean, I wasn't overheating, but I was pretty.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. And I like the fact that the pant, those, whether the Stone Glacier de Havilland light pants, I think all their pants are like that, but that's what I was wearing. Have a zip from the bottom up and from the top down.
Yeah, that's good.
So what I would do quite often, if it wasn't super hot and you wanted the pant to still feel athletic because you were climbing or whatever, you know, is run both the zip from the bottom up to the middle and the one down and meet at the knee, and it sort of still created like a pant feel.
Yeah.
So I like that feature. That was quite cool.
Yeah, it was cool. It was good. I was very jealous. Except for when we were walking through those fields of shit.
Yeah,
And they were
dry, dead, whatever.
Yeah, just filling
dead
up
shit.
with spiky stuff.
But I had the same thing in summer, but I didn't take gaiters in summer,
Yeah.
and it wasn't such an issue
Yeah.
when I didn't have gaiters on, because whatever would go in would just fall out the bottom.
Yeah, see, we didn't need gaiters due to the heat.
But we did in the mornings. That was
Yeah,
the thing,
true,
right?
fair
Otherwise,
point.
you would have just had soaked pants, like just
And soaked boots.
yeah.
Like, although I got wet boot on the first river crossing, but
That was just a poor decision.
that was just me being a bloody too keen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Been down that road.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
No, all in all, it was like a hard trip, but a good trip. That stag didn't come easy, I wouldn't say,
no.
but
But we were rewarded. You know, like it felt. You know, we'd looked at stuff. We'd had plenty of opportunities leading up to that, like where we could have shot a shitty
well,
stag.
we had that 10-point stag, like 100 metres from camp. 10, 9? I don't know.
Yeah, whatever it was. Yeah.
100 metres from us, just feeding away.
Could have blown them away.
Could have, yeah. Like I ran back to camp to grab my rifle because I was all excited. Came back down. You're like, he's actually pretty young, and like hindsight, I looked back at him and I'm like, yeah, he is. Yeah,
He's real young.
real young,
like 2 years old.
2 or 3. Like, yeah.
But
He'll be a cracker in a few years.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Um,
No, and that's it. You know, like if you shoot the first half pie decent stag you see, you'll never shoot big stag.
Yeah.
Because a big stag will hear that gunshot and be gone.
Yeah.
Especially, you know, like shooting your nozzler.
Yeah,
Right.
which I'm actually a bit upset that I didn't get to shoot it because I was hoping to squirt an animal
Still
with
got
it.
a couple of days left, mate.
Or yeet an animal with it. Like, I've got that new 195 grain load for it, which I've just verified or had verified, and I was really looking forward to punching something hard with that. So we saw pigs, man. The amount of pigs that were in there.
Lots of pigs. The most pigs I've ever seen in the area.
Yeah, we were getting real close to them too, like 10, 15 metres away from these pigs.
Yeah.
Before they'd notice us.
But they were all well, I mean, we saw a couple of good pigs, but
Yeah.
a lot of them were just small mob pigs.
Yeah.
Just like
But the good pigs were up high and moving.
Yeah.
Like all that halfway up the ridge line, which is probably still 300-400 metres off the valley floor.
Yeah, for sure.
So, no, it was all in all, I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was good. Like you never come out hating it, right? Unless something catastrophically went wrong.
Yeah, I didn't break a leg. I think I've got a few blisters from the last walk, and that's just because I didn't address the hot spots in my feet that I was feeling, and I think
that's a big one. Eh? I've seen that so much on hunts.
Yep.
Lately.
Well, we had that conversation on that first day because we were cruising up to the saddle. So I think we had 600 or 700 metres of vertical to climb up to the saddle, and we had packs on, and we were waiting till the very last minute to get water, which we missed the boat on and had to drop back down.
Yeah, I'll give you a little video that I took to insert somewhere as well. Just sort of ask the question what people think.
Yeah.
But yeah, carry on.
And I got up there, and I was in one of my boots. I was getting a little bit of, because I'd had wet feet the day before, so I was getting a little bit of heel lift is what they call it, and so I could feel my heel getting hot. So when you drop down, I was like, okay, I'm gonna pull my feet off, pull my boots off, my feet off, they don't come off. And in my little emergency kit, I've got strapping tape for this exact.
On the white.
Yeah, roll like that for this exact reason, and I pulled it and threw it on my heels. I did both feet and didn't have a problem after that, and that stayed on until last night. When I was
peeled it off.
Yeah, when I was like, oh yeah, that's right, that's still on there, you know, like and in hindsight I probably should have done that yesterday on the way out, but we were like at that stage we were pretty close to getting out. We'd come off that last saddle.
Even then, like, it's still that mentality, like I was saying, I've seen this a lot, where people will start getting that hot spot and they'll go, I don't want to be a burden on the boys. I won't say anything. I'll just sort of try and mitigate it.
I can mutter through this, you
know,
that
sort of thing. And then you end up another 6 hours walking later, and they're like, dude, I've got to stop. I think I'm getting blisters. And they pull their boots off, and they've got blisters the size of the tops of your beer cans. You know,
their feet are hanging off.
You're like, why have you not said something until now?
Yeah.
Like, I would way rather someone was 20 minutes into a walk or 20 minutes into a trip, and just said, hey, look, I think I'm going to get blisters. Can we stop? I need to take my feet up.
Yeah.
Sweet as. I'd way rather we stop for a quarter of an hour, 20 minutes. You tape your heels up or your toe or whatever's rubbing, and we carry on. And I'd happily do that 6 times versus someone get blisters and ruin the whole trip.
Yeah.
For them anyway. I mean, depending on what you're doing. But it's not a burden. Manage the situations as they arise. Don't wait for them to worsen.
And to be fair, if you're hunting with guys, man, you should be good enough mates that no one's going to judge you if you stop and go, hey man, give me 5. I'm getting sore feet. I need to sort my feet out.
Or if you know you get blisters, put tape on before you leave.
Yeah.
I still sometimes do it. If I know I'm going somewhere where there's a high chance I'm going to get wet feet, I'll just tape my feet up. Tape the sides of my big toes, tape my heels.
Yeah.
And just, like,
prevent.
It doesn't hurt you for it to be on there.
No,
it's not annoying. You don't.
And you don't feel it. I'd forgotten about it until last night.
But it does such a good job.
Yeah.
So, it's one of those things, isn't it? Like.
Yeah. Any other thoughts? Any other thoughts, comments? wishes, dreams?
Nah,
No.
like anyone out there who's listening who owns a Stone Glacier pack, I'm curious to see.
Dude, like 4 people are going to watch this for you.
And
it's my mum.
If you've had the same issues I've had, I'm having issues with the hip belts rubbing and giving me like basically sores on my hips, like blisters almost, but not blisters, like just chafing maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, and Stone Glacier have this system where you can like adjust the top and the bottom of the hip belt, and I'm like, you know, like this trip I got it on my left hip, not my right, like try and feel the difference, like where if it's tighter top or bottom, couldn't work it out. Last trip I had it on my right hip.
Well, maybe the guys from Stone Glacier should come out. We'll go hunting with them, and they can sort your pack problem out.
Well, they can show me, yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
if they fly out here, we'll take them hunting.
Yeah, for sure.
And they can sort your problem out. That'll probably be good.
But yeah, no, I mean, that's probably the only niggle from the trip.
Yeah.
That I'd like to resolve.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a deal breaker, but it was definitely like, you know, yesterday what did we beat yesterday? Probably 15, 20 k's.
Yeah, it was a lot.
On foot, it was starting to hurt.
Yeah.
By the end of it.
Yeah, I had a, what would you call it? An early model of the new Mystery Ranch pack.
Prototype.
A prototype.
Yeah.
That was sent out here for testing and shit. And the new models are out now, but I've just got given this one to have a try with.
Yeah.
And I had problems really being able to tighten up the belt.
Where is that pack? Have you got it here? Like, because that's actually something worth looking at, because it's an interesting design, and I don't quite understand why they would do it.
Take that off.
Because it doesn't quite make any sense to me.
Yeah, I put it on this one. I really had trouble ratcheting these up. You can see that's actually
like
twisted. Just buzz it off. Oh, come here.
Well, at least you know it's not going to come off in a hurry.
Yeah, the molly system, eh? It's
Been around for a long time.
Yeah. There's a reason it's still there. So I had real trouble. Like this little bit here would get caught in the buckle when I was trying to. So like we
hold it. You pull. Like when you
this is
pull.
it's all twisted.
Well, that's what happens, right? Like,
no, it wasn't that was happening. This is just twisted, and because I was being a knucklehead with it. What was happening is this was fed through here, so I'm not actually sure that that's where it's meant to be fed through. And when I would ratchet it up, it would grab this little bit here and drag it into the buckle.
And you couldn't get it tight.
And I couldn't get it tight enough. Like I was getting it tight, but like we were probably on the way in up to that saddle, we were mid 20 kilo packs.
Yeah.
With which isn't super heavy, but it's still not light.
No, we were heavier than that, man. Like you think what did we weigh up before we left? We were 22,
23 without rifles.
Yeah, and then we had rifles strapped to the packs.
Yeah.
And water.
So we had rifles, which is 4-ish.
With 30 kilos.
And then I had 4 kilos of water. 5 kilos of water, because I filled up my Nalgene.
There you go.
So yeah, probably 30 kilos. And I couldn't and it kept, because it was so heavy, it was sink down on my hips.
I could see it too, I asked you.
Yeah, and I was really struggling to get that tight enough, and I pulled that out on that last day.
I still think that this shouldn't be in there too.
Nah, I don't like the style. So I've got the older model, and this is a way better design. I reckon my old pack was more comfortable, but because this is an early prototype, I'm wondering. I need to contact the guy and find out if it's changed, because and maybe I'll put a little thing in there to make sure that it has been changed, because I didn't like that made all the weight sink on my shoulders, and I've got a dud shoulder from being a knucklehead when I was young.
And being a hero.
And being a hero, which is another story for another day. But
just talking about what we were carrying also made me think of something that I would probably have planned and done differently, and that was like, you know, between the two of us, we carried 2 rifles, we carried 2 cookers, we had 2 tents, we had double ups, a lot of double ups, and you know, when we boil it down, like shit, we were actually carrying 30 kilos. We could have really made that better.
Yeah, like we could have shared. Like I know you've got a big Gali tent here somewhere that we could have both fit in easy as with all our gear. You know, we could have taken one MSR cooker.
Yeah.
We could have taken one rifle. You know, we've both got nice rifles which shoot well.
Yeah.
Which would have saved me a bag
on the plane.
Which now I can't get the head home because you're only allowed 2 bags on a plane. So there's.
I just think going forward, that's learning though, right? Like,
100%.
Just leave your 28 nozzler here, and it's all good.
No, I need to go shoot some bunnies with it up at home.
You know, like even things like refining the filming through the spotter and how we could like retrieve all that footage and stuff. So you didn't have to bring your big Nikon.
Yeah, I won't bring in that. I think this will be the last trip that big Nikon goes on. To be fair,
because I think a decent phone these days takes some pretty incredible footage. Yeah. Takes some amazing photos too. Like I've taken some pretty awesome photos.
Yeah, you have
on my phone. I don't own
a camera.
But
I mean, I still want to take that little camera.
That thing's great.
I like that camera, and that takes real grunty photos, and it's really adjustable. But my big Nikon, its days are numbered. If anyone wants to buy a big Nikon and you're still listening to this, I think slide into my messages.
They have a place.
Yeah.
But when you're starting to do what you're starting to come do with us more regularly.
But you can still do everything that Nikon does with that.
Yeah.
Like, that just does everything better.
For trophy hunting.
For trophy hunting? What else could... Even meat hunting?
You could still film... But the thing is, with your camera...
Yeah.
You can still spot an animal and go, yes, that's a deer. With this, we're looking, is it a good stag? Is it a hind? Yeah. If that makes sense. If you're meat hunting, you're like, yes, it's an animal, like, cool. Yeah. Film it, film the shot, all that sort of stuff. But we're literally...
counting points.
Trying to count points. You know, if you're hunting chamois or tar, you know, you're trying to count age rings, all that sort of stuff, you know, so... That's where the spotter...
Which definitely has become something that I'm more and more into, more and more getting obsessed into over the last little bit.
But the difference is... What's the Nikon worth? What would you going to...
I think they're $1,200, $1,100, something like that, brand new.
Yeah. 3.6.
Yeah.
You know, like, so massive difference. So if you're someone younger or someone getting into it...
But you can buy the... entry Leopold.
Yeah, $900.
$900.
Yeah.
So there you go.
And pretty good bang for buck.
I'd probably rather the $900 Leopold spotter over the Nikon.
It just depends, I suppose. Yeah. Like, because it's not as clear cut, you know, because then you've got to buy the phone scope adapter. One thing that I hate is this. I hate this with a passion. It is so bulky, like, you know, phone into that, it just becomes this massive thing in your pocket. Like, no one makes a bino harness like pocket, or, you know, that pocket you just pulled off your pack.
Yeah.
No one makes a pocket that'll fit this in it.
Yeah.
So I actually end up running my phone separate to it and putting my phone into it. How many times was this in my pack?
Yeah.
100 metres away or more when we needed it.
Yeah.
You know? So...
I have played with one. I had some soiree spotters at home a month or so ago, and one of them had like a magnetic. I forget the name of the company.
Olin's?
Yes, I think so. I've got it on my
like a case for your phone, and then
yeah, but it was quite a nice case. It wasn't like a big case, and then it was like a magnet adapter which sat around the phone.
red. Or red
Yeah, it's like a red cross or something.
Yeah,
like,
Islands, yeah. Pretty new.
Pretty new stuff. But
don't know if you can buy them in New Zealand yet.
This guy in New Zealand had one.
Yeah, I don't know where he would have got it from. Might be able to order it from somewhere in the
States. Probably order it from the States.
But I looked at buying one.
Horrendous.
Pretty shipping.
Yeah.
Killer.
Yeah.
Right.
Shipping's always a killer from the States.
So I didn't, but Phone Scope is in New Zealand.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And I'm hoping that they might get. Well, I know Phone Scope US have just brought out their new Pro case, which is, like you say, it's a phone case.
Yeah.
But this piece here, you can just magnet on, and then
yeah.
so you just have the case on your phone all the time,
and then you have that little bit.
This is the only bit like that. If I just had to take that ring, it would fit in the front pocket of the bino harness, like easy.
Yeah.
But this, and like I've already had to buy another bloody, like these yellow lugs come out, they pop out.
Yeah.
So like this is annoying. So
so you have to pop your cake. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so if I want to push my phone into here, if I just be like a meathead, that happens.
Yeah.
Right, so like, and then I've lost one somewhere along the way, and that was annoying. And then the camera doesn't quite line up with that if it's missing one. So that's annoying. So you've got to like, to put it in, it's not like a real quick, easy way. You've got to like slide it into the top, and then put your fingers behind the back ones to push it in to like get it in there, and that like that's a thing, man.
Yeah.
Like,
one bit of gear that, so I shot that stag with your rifle, obviously. MTN bipod, man.
yeah,
I felt so good with that.
yeah,
Like
Aaron will laugh at this when he hears this if he watches it.
he won't listen to this.
But I would not have shot my 14 this year without that bipod.
Yeah.
I shot from the most horrendous spot I've ever shot from, bent up like a dog fucking a tennis ball. And like I had the bipod at like the legs at full, what I don't know, like verticalness.
Yeah.
At full extension, like to try and...
How far was the shot on that?
460 yards.
It's a long way.
Yeah, and it was solid. It was
Yeah.
rock solid. And I'm shooting 7PRC, like, so it's a Magnum, and handled it.
Yeah.
Like, my first thoughts when I got it was flimsy.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know if it was going to go the distance, but it's had some shots through it now, and it's pretty good, and I see Matt's forever refining them.
Yeah. So they've been around a while, and, you know, like, I've always thought about getting one, but I'm like, they're super expensive. I've already got a Harris, which does the job, but man, like there is a clear difference between how stable I would have been on the Harris. Like, yeah, I still would have been able to do that shot. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, that, yeah.
Like, but it just felt so comfortable.
Yeah.
Behind that gun. Due to that bipod and that positioning, that you could adjust the...
There's so much adjustability, right?
Yeah, to get this right for the situation and you're in.
Insanely functional.
Yeah.
Like, you struggle to find a scenario where you can't get it set up right.
Yeah, right. Versus my Harris is clonk, clonk, extend. And that's it.
And I've actually had this conversation with Matt. He came to one of our NZDA meetings about there still is a place for a Harris.
Yeah.
Like, Harris bipod, perfect for bum hunting, right? Like, or a like, sort of, whatever sort of style of hunt. Like I said to Matt, you need to make something a little bit more robust that I can just sort of thrash around a wee bit, because, you know, like everything's made of carbon fibre and glued, and like if you're rough with it, you will break it. Like it's not
bulletproof.
It's not bulletproof.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I kind of would like to maybe have a Harris still in my arsenal, but like I see Harris make like a pick, a detachable bipod.
Yeah.
Because obviously once you go to the either style, either the pick or the Arca Swiss attachment to your rifle, that's it. You lose the swivel slug,
Yeah.
swivel stud for the Harris.
Yeah.
So you can go back, like it's just undo, change over. You don't want to be doing that, right? Like,
No.
You don't want to be pulling your rifle apart every time you need to
Change bipod.
change bipods and blah blah blah. So it'd be cool to see something grunty for, like, I know it's made like a backcountry one, but it'd be nice to have all that functionality
Yeah.
and not worry about weight,
Yeah.
because I haven't seen another bipod with that sort of functionality.
Man, it's good.
Like it just moves in every which way and does it flawlessly.
Yeah.
The-
And he's a hell of a nice guy. And from what I hear, is that if you ever have a problem with it,
Yeah,
he'll make it right.
yeah.
Not that I've experienced
But
that.
also, like, how good was it in the field? You saw my rifle flop over on the bipod,
Yeah.
and
Still stayed there.
It still stayed there.
standing
Still
up.
right, we're back. We had to sort some technical issues.
Right. So your rifle flopped over.
Flopped over, yeah, and so I was able to go to my possibles pouch, pull out an Allen key, tighten up a grub screw, boom, back in
Yeah.
action, just taking up that tension. And I have had to do that a couple of times, so it's obviously like something's wearing over time, but
Yeah.
you've got the ability to keep adjusting it, and I'm sure if I ever had an issue where it didn't tighten anymore, Matt sort of
yeah, he's
give you another grub screw, or I don't know.
from the chats I've had with him. Like, he's amazing at sorting out issues, and everyone
And congratulations to him too. Just had a baby.
Yeah.
As
A
Mrs.
dad,
says.
had a dad. He's a dad now.
He's a dad now, so
So
yeah.
he can join the dad gang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so
MTN gear.
MTN gear. Sorry, you lose your sort of train of thought a wee bit, don't you?
Yeah. Not enough beer. That's the problem.
We're gonna need to get more, aren't we?
Yeah.
That's it.
There's always a problem when I'm around.
Right, task for this morning. Go to Richmond.
Yeah. Lost my train of thought.
Bipod.
Bipod. Life. Dad.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else we could touch on. Hat? That was a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. But see, I was fine.
You had your hood.
I had my hood. Like, I put my hat on, and then I put my hood over top of that. Like,
I rate that, but
Yeah.
the only thing is when you're trying to listen,
that's an issue. Although that hood is so thin,
yeah,
it's probably
it's
not
not like
too
a
bad.
puffer,
It's not like
it's like-
puffer jack, because we had this conversation on that last morning where your puffer hood, you can't hear anything when you got it on because it's so rustly
Yeah.
and yeah.
well, I'm just trying to think. Rifles, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I
bombs.
had a new sleeping system, new sleeping bag.
You need to replace that mat. Jesus,
I
it's
love
loud.
that mat. Yeah, so I've got an early Thermarest Neo Air,
Yeah,
and it's loud, it's rustly.
it's real loud.
Like, especially when I snore as well, particularly when I'm real tired, which I was a lot. But I bought a new Rab sleeping bag, and
That's cool.
yeah, I like that Rab. Like, I got the extra because I like to really grab my sleeping bag and pull it in, and I like space in a sleeping bag. Like, I think in one of my other gear videos I talked about my Cedar Summit Spark, which I see you've got one over there, how it was too tight around my shoulders for me. Like, I mean, I'm not a big guy, but I'm not small, and it was just too tight across my shoulders, and I felt constricted.
It's the same for me.
Yeah.
I quite often don't zip up my Spark when
Yeah.
I use it because it's too snug.
Yeah.
But it's not so bad if it's really cold and you just want to be warm
Yeah.
and you're just coughing up in it.
See, I can't sleep like that.
But when it's warmer and you're wanting to sort of change position quite regularly. And
Yeah. So we're, I got this new Rab, I think it's the Neutrino Pro 500 or something. It's meant to be rated to -9.
Comfort 9 or?
Honestly, I can't remember. Probably lower limit. So which means comfort's around 0, right?
Yeah.
Which probably is what we had that last morning, and I slept in just my jocks and a thin merino.
Well,
and I was comfort. I was
both did that test on the last night, didn't we?
Yeah, correct.
To put it into context, the whole time, like I'm real classic. I like to arms out of my bag and all that sort of stuff. So quite often I'll sleep in my puffer jacket and just have the bag unzipped and like rah.
Particularly because we were cooking outside at night in our puffer gear because it was cold, right? And so we're being social outside.
Yeah.
In our puffer gear.
It's just easy to just
jump back into the sleeping bag in your puffer gear.
And quite often that helps get the bag.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, we both decided on the last night, we sort of had the conversation around the non-campfire, around the cooker, that we should really both, because I've got a new sleeping bag as well, try them out as designed, zipped up, wearing what you normally wear to bed, and yeah, so you were pretty happy?
Yeah, and that Nemo Philo luxury, like, man, heaps heavier than my last, like, pillow. Yeah, that's your one. Your one's got probably less dribble stains than mine does now. Like,
yeah, that's why I got mine out, not yours.
I drooled here. Anyway.
Get the grade, I don't see it this much.
Heaps heavier than just a blow-up pillow, but
yeah. So they are they're like a foam topped
with an airbag underneath.
With an airbag underneath, so you can it's got a blow-up port there, and it's got a removable case. This I don't know, what would you call this?
Soft.
Whatever. It's like a nice soft anyway.
Yeah.
Whatever fabric.
Dribble catcher.
And so that's washable, so you can wash your dribble off it, which yours is going to need a bloody industrial washing machine.
Yeah.
So they are heavier because of the foam and all that, obviously. But
man, comfortable. And
the perfect balance, I would say, between
probably
weight and comfort.
Yeah. So I've always really struggled to get really good night's sleep in the hills.
Yeah.
And so this trip I had a new tent, which was, newish, new sleeping bag and that new pillow. Shit, I slept well. Like, yeah. I had complaints about I needed
not
to
complaints, just comments.
Yeah, park my tent a bit further away next time.
I'm a snorer too, so I can't say shit.
Yeah.
But no, it's good. That's what you want, and like I've gone around circle myself.
Yeah.
In the sleep system thing, like gone real minimalist, which you can do. Like it's all good.
Yeah.
I kind of sort of did that with my mat that I've got at the moment. Long story, but we've got a mat that's too small for me.
Yeah.
Like it's way too short, but it's light.
Yeah.
I don't mind hanging over the end a wee bit. So
yeah, I don't mind hanging over the end, but I think I would like my next mat a little bit wider. Because I like to toss and turn and roll. Like I'm okay with because I'll quite often chuck like spare clothes or anything like that. Not that I carry a lot of spare clothes, but just spare shit down the end of my tent.
Yeah.
And my feet will sit on that anyway.
Yeah. I have my gaiters down there.
Yeah.
So,
right.
Like that's gaiters or just something like that.
Yeah.
Pack. Like just anything.
Yeah.
But
especially if you're not on level ground.
I did have a long wide mat.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it had some faults. So
was that after I borrowed it?
No. It was just the manufacturing faults.
Oh.
So that's I don't have that any longer. But that was the most comfortable sleep I've ever had in the hills, and I think that's important, especially when you're backing it up day after day.
That was a good mat. You lent it to me, and I used it for a hunt probably this time last year, and that was really nice. But
the wide is nice just because if you like to sleep a little bit,
yeah,
you can, and you're not like arms hanging on the cold ground, or wet ground, or
my tent's a bit of a coffin, so I don't actually know if that would fit in it.
I think they do.
Do they?
From thought, yeah, I think Thurston's designed his tents to fit a wide mat.
Oh yeah.
So, don't quote me on that. I'm just I have done a little bit of watching on it, but I would love to go back to a wide.
Yeah.
But I've got just through all sorts of
Yeah.
ways. I've got mats that I just need to use.
Use before you buy another one.
Yeah, I don't need a fourth. So, struggling to get the beer flow.
No, I cracked the, broke the tab off prematurely.
What was I going to
Yeah,
say?
so the new sleeping systems worked well. Like you're really happy with your, that's a...
Stone Glacier Chill Coot,
Yeah.
15 degree Fahrenheit.
So,
So same thing, -9.
though they've recently got distribution in New Zealand, so they're quite...
Yeah, I've got a bit of this stuff before it came to New Zealand. I've got it through friends in the States and stuff like that. But epic to have the opportunity. To have the opportunity to get some of this quality gear in New Zealand. So anyway, have had that sitting there for a bit. Finally got to take that out. Well, I've taken it on a couple of trips before that, but finally test it properly, like we just said. And so I did that last night, just sleeping like I would in my long johns.
Yeah. And those are your Kuyu Merino ones, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't sleep in a liner. I sleep in long johns, like long sleeve merino top, long sleeve merino pants. Which
is something that we talked about out there, and I carried a liner with me, but I didn't use it because I wasn't sleeping. Except for that last night, I used it. But I'm like, man, I never sleep because I hate the sticky, like your legs sticking together.
When you've been sweating all day and you get into your bag and you stick. That is why. So the reason I went away from the liner into the merinos was because the liner stops you sticking to the bag. It doesn't stop you sticking to you. So I started sleeping in just a light merino, top and bottom, long sleeve, and that remedies that. Stops your legs sticking together and all that sort of stuff, and that really clammy, uncomfortable feeling. And merino doesn't smell, all that fantastic stuff. So did that in the stone bag, and epic. Lot of room, like for your shoulders and arms. It's a really wide bag.
Which is why I went to the XL bag, because I wanted more. I'm not.
Got to be careful though. You don't go too much room and you can't heat your bag.
I'm hot, man. I heat my bag up real good.
Hot gases in there, was there?
Well, you live on bloody D-highs for a few days. You get a feel of them.
So that was great. And I also found, because I was having issues, I found that the bag felt a bit too short. But that was just the way I was sleeping in it. Because I was sleeping in it half unzipped, I was sliding into it deeper. When I slept in it properly,
it held you in.
It held me in. Yeah, it was fine. And I'm 6 foot, just over.
6'1". 6'4".
No. That is sweet.
It looked like a nice bit of kit, and that weighs in around the kilo mark.
I haven't actually weighed it myself. I think it's like just shy of a kilo.
So I think my Rab one that I've got is like 1,050, like just over it.
It's all.
But man, like, because
you actually weigh it, you'll probably find it's either lighter or heavier.
So I went from that Spark, which was 700 grams, 650, 700 grams, light as, but I couldn't fit in it, right? And so I'm like, that extra 300 grams and then probably extra couple hundred grams for the pillow. Man, I'm sleeping so much better at night, so I'm feeling better the next day. And especially for those 3rd, 4th, 5th days, that makes a huge difference, right? Because you're recovering better after your hills. And we're not paddock hunting, That's not walking around the back of a farm. Or
speaking of recovery, though,
that
was something else that we sort of planned pretty meticulously. In recovery, as in the supplements that we took. To maintain us day after day after day.
Oh, so you were injecting steroids?
Roids. What's it called? Tren? Yeah, that's it.
You pretend like you don't know.
No, seriously, every night we were both making the effort to have Radix recovery smoothie with all the protein and all the other vitamins and minerals and whatever else they jam into it.
And I think I was also taking a couple magnesium sleep things which helps. I don't know. I feel it helps me sleep. You know,
helps you sleep. But also the electrolytes and all that sort of stuff. You know, we're both delving into the wilderness athlete stuff.
Yeah, and
Bit
pure
of
pure performance. I think they are.
This is a New Zealand crowd.
Yeah.
But New Zealand?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Help, eh? Like
Huge
massively.
difference.
Like every night I was having a recovery smoothie and a wilderness athlete hydrate and recover, or what it so every day I was starting the day
Ending the
day with a Radix recovery smoothie and a hydrate and recover from Wilderness Athlete, which is is what it is, electrolytes with some vitamins, minerals, all that sort of stuff. And then also in the morning I would have a coffee, and then I'd also have one of their
Energy and Focus,
which like I said to you, they're elite, like they're so good.
Yeah, I had one of them on the way out. Like,
And they just dial you back in.
yeah.
It's one of those weird things though, like if you don't think about it, you don't notice it.
Yeah.
That's how subtle, like you don't have, like with some of the other electrolytes you take, you don't have this,
Yeah.
or maybe not fucking crash like that, but you know, like with this here, you just feel you're not fading, if that makes sense. You just stay where you are. And we also discussed, you know, like you can't have too many of them.
No.
I am curious if anyone out there like knows their nutrition. How much of that sort of shit can you have in a day? Can you have too much of it? I don't know.
Yeah.
But sort of...
I'm sure there's a recommended
There's
dose.
nothing on the package.
Nothing on the package.
But, I mean...
I'd be keen to slide into their messages and ask.
Yeah, because I think probably did like 2 or 3 a day. Not you know, the morning and evening, and then one in the middle somewhere.
So I did something similar where I'd have a recovery smoothie at night from Radix, because we've both been using them for a couple of years now, and
Tested it on that 8-day trip.
Yeah.
It was like so good.
I think even on our Ahuriri trip, we were using them, and I was having pure hydration powder, same sort of thing. But I probably could have had more in my kit.
Yeah. I would have run out before 7 days if I kept taking them like I was.
Yeah, see, I only had one a day that I was taking, but they're a bigger pouch of powder, if that makes sense.
Yeah, different shape.
Well,
I don't know whether there's more powder or less powder.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But I love an energy gel, so I was jamming.
I did know that.
Yeah.
You gave me that pure. It was like a pineapple flavoured one.
Yeah. But it's more like a fluid, eh?
It was amazing. It was like drinking like thickened pineapple juice is like how I would call it.
Perfect.
It was like super refreshing.
Yeah.
And like I've had a lot of gels. I take a lot of gels and stuff when I'm mountain biking, and quite often they're gluggy. It's like eating peanut
thick,
butter,
right?
Yeah. But these were just like nice.
Because I had some others on this trip as well that I bought a bunch in bulk, and they were caffeine ones, and they were like gluggy like peanut butter, right?
Yeah.
Those pure ones are nice.
Yeah, I definitely buy them.
Yeah.
Like for my biking and hunting.
Yeah.
Definitely a thing. So yeah, like food. That like rolling on from nutrition into food.
Yeah.
Like how did you find your food?
Man, I was lean. Like I wouldn't say I was hungry.
But you were chasing the next meal, right? Like
nah.
I don't know.
Probably because you were topping me up.
Some of those noodle stops.
Bro, those noodle stops are elite. So I'd have a Radix breakfast, 800s I think, the bigger style breakfasts, and then I had like a bar and a fruit bar, like a Go Native fruit bar, and a pack of crocodiles, 10 crocodiles a day. Love a crocodile, and that was sort of pushed me till sort of mid-afternoon, and then I was having the noodles and soup mix that we've talked about,
If anyone hasn't tried that too,
Yeah,
just noodles with like a soup powder.
like, what are those noodles called? They're like goneg noodles or something.
I'll grab some.
And like a cup of soup powder and a easy, quick.
Everyone knows them.
Yeah, just those.
Any noodles though, right? Like,
Yeah, any noodles. Just noodles in a cup
with some
soup.
Yeah.
Cup of soup powder.
But just
lightweight. They're filling.
yeah,
They feel good. I like those. I was just because
You're
I've got all
mixing
those.
everything, aren't you?
What are they like? All those sauces,
oils and the soy sauce and the chili.
I was just firing everything into it. Like, I'm like, man, if I'm carrying this, I'm firing it all in.
I didn't, but yeah.
And I like them. That's a good little mix.
It
and
is.
then
I was having it like quite often for just before dinner, like get to camp, have noodles and soup,
yeah.
muck around, and then have dinner.
Yes, I was having that sort of between 2 and 4.
I had it for dinner one night.
You did,
I
yeah.
was pretty buggered. I couldn't be bothered eating dinner.
And then for dinner, I had two setups for dinner. I had Radix meals, they're 800s. I had a few of those, and I had a couple of Go Natives to mix in for the week with potato, dehydrated potato.
Yeah.
And we were having a conversation about what's better for up on the tops, because like water was scarce. Well, there was no water up there, right?
Yeah.
So we
had to carry everything.
Every all the water we had, we were carrying, and so like I've talked about this a lot with like we've both been teaching a hunts course recently for the DA, and Radix take like 170 mils of water.
Yeah, 175.
Versus other brands are a lot more.
Yeah.
And so it's quite efficient to have that. But then the Go Natives, they're wet meals, right? And so all you have to do is heat them up. So you boil them in water.
And you can reuse that day after day.
You can
have that same 250 mils of water or whatever it
so
is.
you could have your water bladder of water up on the tops, put 250 mils in your
Hot.
wind burner or jet boil or whatever, heat it up and then fire that back, let it cool and fire it back into your water bladder. So
the other thing is you can eat those Go Natives cold.
Yeah, you can.
So, and I think, I haven't tried them cold, but I'd imagine they would still be pretty good.
Yeah.
The flavour of them.
Yeah, I had that chili con carne
Last night.
Yeah, on the last night with potato.
Pretty yum. But like I said to you, like I look into the food side of things a little bit probably deeper than some.
Yeah.
So the pouch, the Go Native pouch, I think weighs, from memory, 250 grams.
Yeah.
Right. The Radix weighs, I think, about
150, I want to say.
Yeah, 150, and then by the time you add 175 of water,
Yeah.
for each meal, you have to carry that for each day that you're going to be there on the top. So you're already at 325 grams, right? I'm not talking mash. I'm not worried about
You're
the mash.
not worried about the mash.
I can do without the mash. The mash is nice. Where's the other? The word.
So 163.
Yeah. 260.
So 100. Yeah,
100 grams more, right? But you need, for that Go Native, you can just eat that.
Yeah. Versus the
Radix.
I need 170 mils of water.
175. So you're then already...
190.
Oh, wow.
190 for that one.
So that's obviously
That's
the
the
new ones, eh?
New V9.
So, and that's another one too with the Radix I've noted, is the 4, 6 and 800s take different amounts of water. The 4 and the 8 take 190 now, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And the 6s are like 250, like every other meal, which is, I don't get.
Yeah.
But like you said, there's probably some science
Yeah.
there. But,
Well, they're real science, aren't they? Like,
so, like, if you were just doing 3 days on the tops, I think it's probably more efficient to carry Go Native.
Yeah.
But if you were doing 10 days,
yeah.
it's just probably going to be easier to carry Radix and every few days go and get more water somewhere, somehow.
or whenever you bump into it, try and get it, especially if you're dropping down to...
But like us, you know, we're up and we were staying up until we needed to drop, so we had to have what we...
We kind of needed to drop in the end because we were... Well, I mean, we could have dropped down just to water, but... We
could have gone over the back there, which didn't look too bad to get down to water. So yeah, I mean, like, I don't know if many people do that sort of calculation, you know, like, and know the area that they're hunting, but like there is, I think, definitely, for a long time I wrote off Go Native because it was wet, heavy food. Like,
well, that makes sense, right? Like, so that might weigh whatever it did, but you needed 190 mils of water, especially if you're up on the tops.
So that effectively makes that radix weigh 300 and something grams because you have to have that water
up on the tops.
But
if you're on the valley floor, it's lighter.
Yeah, so if you're doing a lot of up and down travel, then radix is elite.
Yeah.
Where
if you're just up on the tops, you're going to be far more efficient to carry the wet meals.
Yeah, you carry a little bit more weight right from the get-go.
Yeah.
But, I think for, like, comfort, you know, when I say comfort, I mean, like, feeling like you're eating a meal from home.
Yeah.
Go Native.
Yeah, man. That was really nice.
Like I said to you, the last trip, the summer trip, I took some Go Native, and I had the chili con carne, but I also took corn chips.
Yeah.
So effectively that night, I didn't take the mash. I just had corn chips as an alternative, like having nachos for tea.
Yeah.
Like literally, you've got like beans and mince and all that sort of stuff. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Like you can't beat it. But nutrition-wise, I don't think you'll beat radix.
Nah, man, they're real nerdy and
there's a lot of science. That
the guy's got glasses, you know, he's smart. Like,
but yeah, like you never wake up feeling shit after eating radix.
No, I find it's hard. Like, I find I perform well on the radix, and I think we had this discussion after that first tar trip that one of those tar trips that we did, and I was like, man, this is the first time I've had radix. Like, I feel good in the mornings. You know, like I feel like I
feel recovered,
and I'm running.
Your body's getting what it needs, right?
Like, versus, you know, most of the time I treat my body like an amusement park. You know, like.
You do when you're at home.
Yeah, I do. You know, like
I don't know. I haven't delved into the nutrition side of Go Native. I'd be curious to see.
Yeah.
You know, like what is the
nutritional
value? Like, it's got some basic stuff.
They got stuff on the back, but I don't understand that stuff. I'm just a bloody electrician.
You know, it's good when it's got nuts and seeds in it, right?
Yeah, apparently.
So yeah. What else do we take that food-wise? Just trying to think.
Those beer sticks you had were really good.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron.
Yeah.
They were good.
Yeah.
I've actually still got some of those left.
Do you? Where else?
I've found trying not to have too much sugars. It's very easy with the way like New Zealand's supermarkets shelves are stocked to fill your hunting pack with very sugary items, and not in an intentional way. Like I mean bars and things like that. I can't remember the name of them. It's like a Wicker bar or something like that we shared yesterday or the day before or whatever, which is new.
That was heavy. It was thick. Not heavy weight-wise, but it felt heavy to eat.
It felt nutritious, and not too sweet. You didn't, 20 minutes later go, oh, fuck, I've had too much sugar.
Yeah.
It was like... So things like that, like, I think are quite key, and you have your sugary treats as a lolly.
Yeah.
Because if you're having lollies and all these sweet, like, chocolate bars and stuff like that... I just found us crashing. Yeah,
I stopped carrying chocolate bars in my pack because I found that I'd end up thirstier after I had them, and they'll just melt in my pack and get squished and washed and.
There's some good stuff starting to pop up, but again, like even with food, we're so far behind the States.
Yeah.
And the options they've got. I've messaged quite a few companies over there, being like, "Hey, can we get your food in New Zealand?" They're like, "Oh, it's too hard."
Yeah.
It's like I'd love to, but it's too hard. Like even their D-high range, like
extensive,
brands, like just and flavors.
Yeah.
You know, like breakfast skillet. How amazing does that sound? You know, like just shit like that. You know, so.
Yeah.
You know, it's coming along, but we could be so much further along.
Well, it's the same with all of our gear, right? I mean, that's the reason that me and you have pretty much predominantly got American-made gear. Or American-designed gear. Most of it's made in China now. But
that's just how it is, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think you can hold that against anyone these days.
No. It's just...
Yeah, so... Food for me, I probably had too much.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks. It was good. That Nutella, those Nutella wraps, man.
Now, that's a wee trick. Actually, I picked this up. I follow the Te Aroha Trail Instagram page.
Yeah.
Follow all those like through hikers and stuff, and people come from all over the world to hike it, and so they're tagging it and all this stuff. And quite often you'll come across someone who's like tagging Te Aroha Trail, and they do their like a food dump, I suppose, like where they do a restock when they come out for been walking for however many days. They come out to restock, and they do like a thing, and they talk about. Quite a lot of them are like doing vlogs and
what we're doing now.
And just on their Instagram stories and stuff, and like ask questions, and a lot of people ask questions around food because food's just such a
big topic.
And
it's hard to get right.
And everyone's different too.
Yeah,
everyone's different. So, but and on there was one of them was like this chick that I've started following since then. One of the little sweet treats was having Nutella and wraps, and I was like, it's so easy.
Yeah,
and how amazing is it? Like,
and then your little trick when you finish the jar to pour hot water in there, give it a shake, and tip that in with your morning coffee. Oh, stop it!
Yeah.
I'd legit two things I'd have at home. Push them aside. That noodle and soup combination.
Yep.
I'd eat that. I'd happily eat that
snack
at home.
any day.
Yeah, beautiful. That Nutella and wrap thing.
It's easy. It's like having a Nutella sandwich.
Yeah, right? It is.
But you've got the convenience of wraps. And so I was running the mini tortilla. I think I said that right. Like that. Wraps, so they're like yay round.
Yeah.
Not massive. So you're not carrying. And I had like a 12-pack of them, and I was having. Actually, a couple of nights had put my radix into the wrap as well. It just changes up that texture. Yeah. That's why I used to. Well, I forgot on this trip, but why I do the corn chips, because it adds texture
and thickness. It's hard to describe. But so we came out and we went to a pub for a beer and a burger when we got out. It was like, oh yeah. But even we were only in there 5 days. But having something that actually gave you resistance when you bit into it, rather than just slop, like D-high. I mean, D-high's, it's not bad, but it's just, you don't have to bite it. No. You just eat it, right?
Yeah, it just consumed. And some people don't care. Like, some people are just like, food's food, it's just like there to serve a purpose. But
it's just
looking at you and me,
man, we like food. We're thickies,
we like our food.
But having that, just the
something to bite.
Something to bite and to chew on was nice.
Yeah. I think there's hunters can learn a lot from trampers.
Yeah.
And a lot of hunters will hate to hear that.
Yeah.
But 100%, they've been dialed for a long time.
And they do it more than us. Yeah. A lot of these
longer
guys,
than us.
And longer than us. Those guys
go to the States. They walk from
for months.
Months.
Yeah.
Half a year, some of them.
So I was in the market for a new tent, right?
Yeah.
And so I wanted something lightweight, but can handle a bit of rubbish.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a 4-season bomb-proof shoulder,
Nah.
but just...
And, relatively versatile as well, because I like to hunt up the North Island and I like to come down here. So I wanted something that could do a mixture of both. And I'm pretty sure it was you, but said, start looking at what thru hikers did. And over Christmas, I was up with the family on holiday, and I think I
got pissed and brought something.
Yeah, I had too many beers, and I was like,
Shock.
I think unlucky, and looked up top 10 ultralight backpacking tents, and just started going through the list and being like,
shit, you haven't seen half of them, right?
The top 10, or the top 10 of the top 15, you'd never heard of in New Zealand. And so I started looking at them all and checking the prices, and some of them I'm like, oh, geez, it nearly fall off my chair when you see the price.
Yeah.
Because they're all made of the Dyneema and stuff like that, which is horrendously expensive.
Horrendously impressive too. Though.
Yeah, really strong. Yeah. But I stumbled across this company that's only a few years old. And
pretty new,
and it was pretty much a guy that was right into his backpacking, and he decided...
He couldn't find a tent that ticked all the boxes with weight and durability.
Yeah.
So he decided to make his own.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's where the Durston X Mid come from.
Yeah, and so I bought one of them. I think it was around $600. Landed. NZ landed.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's a 1P though, right?
It's a one person tent. It's a bit of a coffin, but lots of room in the because it's got two quite big vestibules.
Well, we had both our packs in your tent.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
In your vestibule, sorry.
In my vestibules.
Yeah, so
one on each side.
Yeah, and it was...
Oh, I still had room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you took that inner out, you could probably slip two guys in.
Yeah, 100%.
They have to be cosy.
Yeah, it'd be cosy.
But, yeah.
It's a bit of a pain to set up. You have to really set it up in a rectangle. Get your pegs perfect in a rectangle.
Which can be hard to do.
But so the one I got had a solid inner, so more like a 4-season tent.
So less mesh.
More
breathable fabric. Eh?
Yeah. But man, once you get it up,
that's pretty cool. And that last night when I went and got our food stash.
Yeah.
And you quickly set up your tent to keep our stuff.
Started pouring down with rain.
I was impressed.
Yeah.
I got back in 10-15 minutes and it was because you were a wee bit behind me getting water and stuff, so...
Well, I was eating my noodles.
Or whatever you were doing, yeah. So to get down and you were already set up, in your rain gear, packs and everything, and it perfectly pitched. I was like, you're getting this pretty dog.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't set it up that many times. I've taken it on a few... I think I've probably slept it on one night before this and set it up maybe a couple more times. Yeah. So it hasn't had a heap of use, but yeah.
It's one of those ones, I think a lot of tents are going that way, the old Kuyu Summit Star is quite a lot the same.
Yeah, Summit Star's hard to pitch the first few times.
Yeah, they take a bit of practice.
Yeah.
But once you get it down packed, it's
pretty sweet.
Pretty sweet, yeah. That's a good tent.
It'll be interesting to see how it goes in the next year or so.
The Durston.
Yeah, the Durston, yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. I've got another mate who brought the same... But the 2P.
Yeah, I've one of the other guys at my DA club bought the 2P as well. But he got it because he's 6'6". He's a big fella.
Right, because they are long, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're spacious, yeah. Which is hard to find. That was an issue I had with my Kuyu Stormstar.
Oh, the Storm, which is their
4-season jobby.
Yeah.
I was too long for it, and I'm only 6 foot.
Yeah.
We're just over
6'3".
We're getting shorter. But yeah, so I had to sleep on a diagonal. I couldn't sleep in it how you're supposed to.
Yeah.
But I would touch each end.
Yeah, and
in a rainstorm or whatever, not ideal. And I get they're just trying to save a bit of weight, but what have you saved if you're wet?
Yeah. Or uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because you want, if you're spending a bit of time in there. You want to be comfortable.
Yeah, so
Yeah, the distance.
it's nice to find tents that you fit in.
Yeah.
There was a slight gripe that I had with the Argali
Yeah.
was that actual edge to edge length is massive,
Yeah.
but because it's a single pole pitch, the angle
Quite
to
steep.
is quite they're quite flat,
Yeah.
not steep. Steep would give you room.
Tight then.
Yeah, tight, like quite a flat slope up.
Yeah.
So it's you almost lose like 250 mil right around the outside. That is what I would call unusable
Yeah,
space.
dead space. Which is what I didn't like about the Kuyu Summit Star. Because there's so much dead space, you can only sort of sit up in one spot.
Yeah, but that's all that tent was designed for. I'm sleeping in a 2-person tent.
you are.
And I had several nights where my head's touching, my feet are touching, and that's because of the limitations I had with the trekking, because I'm pitching with a trekking pole that only goes so high,
Yeah.
and so because of that, then I can't.
See, I don't know if me and you could have both fitted in that with our gear. That would have been tight.
It would have been, but it
Yeah.
would have been doable.
Yeah.
But like for the added,
Well, to be fair, yeah, we'd take the 4.
you take the 4P. What is this way? So this is only fly and pegs.
Yeah.
Smidge.
Yeah.
1.1.
So
right?
that's about the same as what my Durston weighs.
Yeah, and my partner can stand up in this,
Yeah.
right? So it's a smidge over a kilo for like oodles of room. No floor,
No floor.
and also this doesn't. No, it does have guy lines on it now.
Oh,
I've guy
Yeah.
line. I think I have.
you can't remember.
I have. I can see them. Yeah. So yeah, I'm sort of. That could have been an option
Yeah.
for the other one's outside drying, but yeah, for like whatever it is, let's say half a kilo.
Well, like we discussed, like you could carry that, and I could carry a cooker and something else and share,
Yeah, it's a
stuff.
It's a tough one because you've got to know your hunting partner pretty well
Yeah, there's definitely some
and
people,
be dialed in together.
yeah, there's definitely some people that I've hunted with that I wouldn't want to share a tent with.
Or just even rely on them for gear.
Yeah.
I've had scenarios where we're like, oh, I'll take one cooker, I'll bring the cooker, you bring the gas, and you get there and you've got the cooker and they've got the gas.
I've also had that. We've gone to fly in somewhere and someone's forgotten to get me gas.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Forgot to get you gas or forgot to give you gas?
I forgot to probably give me gas.
Because I've got a lot of gas.
Yeah.
Yes, I do remember that. That was my fault, but that was.
That was funny.
That was. But
It'll work out.
yeah, we had enough gas. It was just that you didn't have your gas,
Yeah.
and I had gas.
Yeah. Yeah. That was the trip that also I'd left a lighter in my cooking kit, and because my piezo and my jet boil at the time was broken, so I had a lighter in it, and I got into the block we were in and opened it up, and then sort of ticket from aviation security, and they're like, hey, we took your lighter. I'm like, oh, I've got nowhere to light the thing now.
Sorry, you didn't have any gas to light.
Yeah, learnt that lesson, though. Don't have lighters in your checked baggage. So, yeah.
I think we pretty much nailed it, eh?
Yeah, that'll do.
I mean, people can fire questions through and whatnot.
Don't know who we are. We're not hard to get a hold of. Anyway,
No.
peace out, bitches.
Right. Cheers.